Rock, paper, scissors. The building block of strategy games, and Total War is no exception. But what if I told you there was a unit that completely broke this rule? Where it beat its own counters and dominated the entire game. A unit that will go down in history as the most broken peasant you could recruit in a Total War game. Close your eyes and imagine this. You're in Japan during the Sengoku Jidai.
Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker!
While others were crying about the fall of Rome, you studied the blade.
A cutting blow!
While the Spanish and Portuguese were not practicing social distancing with the natives, and doing some really bad things to them, you mastered the art of bullshido.
Shameful
No,
display!
your waifu isn't real, but you can conquer Japan, so hey, that's pretty cool too, right? You expect samurai to dominate the battlefield and warrior monks with the power of God and anime on their side. They might be amazing, but there's a force of nature, an immovable object, an unstoppable force that will break your enemies like Godzilla on his yearly Tokyo vacation. The humble Ashigaru. When you look at them, you expect a bowling ball would just knock him over compared to the Chad samurai. And you know what? You're not wrong. When you throw them straight into the meat grinder, they're trash outside of being very fast anti-cavalry support. But wait a moment. What happens when you actually train your peasants into professional soldiers like Oda Nobunaga, better known as John Shogun? Well, you're about to become a high school bully and beat up the rest of Japan for their lunch money. Or let's be real, a lot of rice. A true warrior doesn't need a sword. That's why we're gonna skewer our enemies on long, sharp sticks and turn them into yakitori. Yariwal turns your off-duty rice farmers into brutally efficient pikemen. They'll drill other peasants full of holes, send enemy cavalry to the glue factory, and most important of all, they can stand up to samurai and even win. When it comes to efficiency, they're the best pikes Total War has ever seen. Now, before you ask Reptilicus what kind of glue did you sniff and put me in front of a firing squad to execute me, the answer is not as much as you think. And let me explain why. Pikemen have more or less been consistent throughout the series. A wall of sharp sticks that'll kill anything in a choke point. The AI doesn't have a good self-preservation instinct. If anything, lemmings rushing off a cliff have more common sense. Or better said, being dumped from a truck down a cliff. Yeah, you know the lemmings jumping into willing death story? Yeah, that's fake. Just like this video. Speaking of which, we cover all sorts of topics here, from history, educational, gameplay videos, silly videos. So why don't you subscribe? Or I'm gonna force you to commit Sudoku. So you're here to put the AI out of its misery, and as it rushes towards its certain doom, you might feel pretty good about yourself. Hey, maybe it's time to change your legal name to Alexander the Decent after you block a choke point with pikes. But here's the problem. There's a good amount of units, depending on the Total War game, that straight up counter pikemen in melee, and this becomes more obvious the bigger the difference between unit tiers, difficulty, and when you're forced to fight a field battle without cheesing. Bro, you can be the reincarnation of Alexander. You're not gonna convince me that in a straight up clash, no mods or easy difficulty, your levy pikes are beating Oathsworn one-on-one. Guess what? Ashigaru and Yariwal will massacre samurai. It doesn't matter if it's Yari or Naginata, and they're gonna make Katana and Odachi-sams call them daddy. Shogun 2's combat is brutal and fast. This unit completely stonewalls the enemy, and not just that, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. This is a game with the good old matched combat, you know, the epic animations of soldiers dueling to the death. They become uninterruptible. But the Yariwal lion doesn't care about the opinion of sheep. They don't follow matched combat rules, so they'll poke the enemy to death without drawing their swords and losing. At least, they won't draw him as much. It doesn't matter if you defend, or issue a movement order and watch your dudes awkwardly waddle towards the enemy, they're just Yari-mazing. The more experienced they become under a skilled general, the harder they are to crack. They become what Japan wishes it was during a Godzilla attack. Unbreakable. And let's be honest, replenishing peasants is a lot cheaper than rebuilding Tokyo. With retainers such as loyal Ashigaru and general traits, which buffs their leadership and general abilities, they are effectively immovable. If you add armor upgrades to them, well, you can just say thoughts and prayers to the AI. Your army is never gonna lose a battle, and all of Japan will respect you just like Billy Harrington. Rest in peace, my sweet prince. If you really grew attached to your peasants, just like your Digimon partner or starting Pokemon, don't worry. Playing as the Oda clan, you can get an evolved version. Long Yari Ashigaru. These are the guys your girlfriend told you not to worry about. Anyone who told you size doesn't matter is a liar. These guys pack a longer stick and an even bigger punch. They need some investment with buildings and tech tree, but once you recruit them, you really will feel like the Japanese Alexander. Yari Ashigaru are a unit you can comfortably use from turn 1 to the end of the game as an army core without any issues, without any regards to difficulty or clan. The unit is just that overpowered. Ashigaru have a larger unit size, and it's very easy for them to get veterancy from all the killing they're gonna be doing. If you're crazy enough, you can even flank with them in Yari Wall, just remember to turn it on time. But I'm still gonna advise that you have dedicated flank breakers like Katana, Odachi, or Warrior Monks for absolute cinema. Sieges become a joke because your ranged units are gonna dump their load straight on the enemy, pull back, the Ashigaru are gonna form a Yari Wall death trap and just stab anything that climbs up into the castle. If you put long Yari behind the regular ones, yeah, there's a special place in hell waiting for you, but it's fun. Another huge reason why Ashigaru armies dominate is efficiency. Now, listen. Samurai and warrior monks are absolutely worth the pain they can bring to the enemy. But hear me out. Instead of just having one strong early army, at the very small cost of crippling your economy and being more vulnerable to invasion, why not have one main army consisting of an Ashigaru corps and a couple of samurai and cavalry, and 2 to 3 full Ashigaru armies? Riceflation is a real thing, people. All these units are extremely expensive compared to Ashigaru. Without any modifiers, Katana Sam upkeep is 150 koku. Nice koku, bro. Compared to a 50 from the Yari Ashigaru. This is besides the recruitment cost. If you want to completely break the game, rush the iron trading node with the Ainu, and this is gonna massively cut down recruitment cost. Look. Ashigaru become 160 koku. Absolutely insane. And no, I'm not Owari acting. This way you can capture a lot of territory and defend it. After all, it's the Sengoku Jidai. You never know when you're getting betrayed. Okay, who am I kidding? Your enemies are stroking their katanas right now as we speak. So what can actually stop peasants with long sharp sticks except death and taxes? Well, if the Ashigaru are Japan, then projectiles are the my lawyer advised me not to finish this sentence. Gunpowder, arrows, and anime withdrawal devastate Ashigaru, especially when they're all tightly packed information like a sushi lunchbox. The AI is a terrible shot, but if you're walking up to them in Yari Wall, they are gonna bring the pain. Luckily for you, you don't have to do that, and you can have your own archers focus fire them down for effectively eliminating the threat. When the AI uses it, it's free target practice for your freshly trained matchlocks or bow Ashigaru, or a fantastic opportunity for your samurai to prove that their katanas can cleave through an entire army of AI Ashigaru, and still cut a tomato in half. And that's how Japan was conquered, one rice field at a time. And there you have it. We've talked about Ashigaru, the pikeman that could rival Alexander's own silver shields. In a metaphorical sense, don't take this seriously, don't ask me to do some power scaling matchup. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. There's a lot more coming, a lot more historical stuff, a lot more informative, silly stuff. You name it, I got it, or I'm about to. So until the next time...